All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cutting through all the noise surrounding sports nutrition. I mean, think about it. There's so much stuff out there, right? You've got gym talk, internet gurus. It's just really easy to get lost. So our goal today is simple. We're going to build a clear, science-based framework for fueling your body, and we're using some fantastic source material to guide us. So, yeah, let's just dive right in.
And we're starting right off the bat with a question for you. True or false? The scientific aspect of sports nutrition is developing very quickly. What do you think? Well, the answer is a big, resounding true. As our source material points out, the science here is moving fast. We're talking quantum leaps in our knowledge. And that's exactly why it's so crucial to stay on top of practices that are actually backed by evidence.
Okay, so if we're going to build this thing from the ground up, we have to start with the absolute basics. And that is, who are we even talking about when we say the word athlete?
You know, what's so great about this slide is how inclusive it is. An athlete isn't just the person you see on TV, right? The term applies to anyone who participates in a sport. That means the pro athlete with the multi-million-dollar contract, sure, but also the college student on scholarship, the serious amateur training for a marathon. And yeah, that includes you, the person playing pickup basketball on the weekend or just going for a run. You're an athlete.
And these pictures really show that spectrum perfectly. On one side, you've got the recreational athlete. Maybe their main focus is just health, fitness, or, having fun. But then on the other side, you have the elite athlete, whose entire life revolves around training and competing. Now, their nutritional needs are going to differ in scale, for sure, but the basic principles, they're the same for everyone.
I love this analogy. The core idea is this. An active body is like a high-performance car. You wouldn't put cheap, junky fuel in a super finely tuned engine and expect it to win a race, would you? Of course not. Well, your body is no different. It has higher demands, and it needs that high-quality premium fuel to perform at its absolute best, to recover, and just to stay healthy.
So where do we even begin with all this? Well, we start at the base. Before we even think about all the complex strategies or supplements, we have to build a super solid foundation of just general healthy eating. And that foundation, it looks a whole lot like this, the My Plate Guide. I mean, this is basically the bedrock of a nutritious diet for pretty much everyone. It's all about balance, getting the right mix of food groups to support your overall health. This is square one, folks.
But here's the thing, for an athlete, that base plate is just the beginning. This is where we bring in the food pyramid for athletes. You'll notice the foundation is pretty much the same. You've got your veggies, fruits, whole grains, but as the demands of training get higher and higher, that pyramid gets taller, showing you exactly how the quantities and proportions need to change to meet those bigger energy needs.
So, what are we actually trying to do with this specialized diet? Well, you can think of it like a multi-point support system for your body. First, it's about providing the raw energy to meet demands. Then, it's about using carbs to restock our main fuel tanks, our muscle and liver glycogen. It's also about recovery, using protein to repair and rebuild muscle tissue. And finally, it's all about staying resilient, making sure you're hydrated and supporting your immune system, which, can really take a beating from intense training.
Okay, now we're getting into the really cool strategic stuff. Your nutrition shouldn't be the same 365 days a year, mainly because your training isn't the same 365 days a year. It's all about matching your plate to what you're doing.
And this leads to a concept called nutrition periodization. It's a fancy term, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It just means that your nutrition plan should be cyclical, just like your training plan, so that you hit peak performance at exactly the right moment, on game day or race day.
And this table from the source material makes it so beautifully simple to understand. Look here, in the off-season, you're focused on rest and just a good balanced diet. Then you get to preseason, and as the training volume and intensity start to ramp up, your calories and protein go up too, to build muscle and endurance. And then finally, during the competition season, it's all about maxing out those glycogen fuel stores with a really high-carb diet.
And here's the perfect visual for that exact point. Just look at how the carbohydrate needs, measured in grams per kilogram of body weight, absolutely skyrocket as an athlete moves from the off-season all the way to competition. It's a totally deliberate strategy to make sure that fuel tank is completely topped off when it matters the most.
All right, now it's time to climb to the very, very top of that pyramid, supplements. And this is where we have to be extremely careful. There's a reason people often call this the Wild West of nutrition.
And this statement really gets to the heart of the problem. In the United States, dietary supplements are not required to be proven safe or effective before they hit the shelves.
Let that sink in. This means the burden of proof, the responsibility, is shifted entirely onto you, the consumer, and not the company that's making the product. And you know, that lack of regulation leads to some very real, very serious risks. The supplement you take could be contaminated with a substance that could get you banned from your sport. The label could be completely inaccurate, it could have unlisted stimulants or cause really harmful side effects. Or, and this is probably the most common one, it could just be a complete and total waste of your money.
So how do you protect yourself? How do you navigate this? Well, you look for these seals. Third-party certifiers like NSF, Informed Choice, and USP, they independently test these products. They verify that what's on the label is actually what's in the bottle, and that they're free from nasty contaminants. This is your best line of defense. Seriously.
And look, even when supplements are safe, that doesn't automatically mean they work. The science shows there's actually a very, very small number of supplements, like caffeine and creatine, that are really proven to be effective for performance. A lot of others, like BCAAs, they're promising, but the jury's still out. They just need more high-quality research before we can say for sure.
And that brings us to our final and honestly, our most important section. The goal here isn't for you to memorize a bunch of facts. It's to give you the tools to think critically about any nutrition claim you might come across.
You've heard this a million times, right? Oh, my teammate took this stuff and had the best season of his life. Well, that's what we call anecdotal evidence. It's a story. It's one person's experience. It is not science, and it's a really, really terrible way to make decisions about your health.
What you really want are evidence-based recommendations. This is advice that's built on a solid foundation of well-designed, peer-reviewed scientific studies. Research that other smart scientists have looked at, scrutinized, and that can be repeated with similar results. This is the gold standard.
And the source material just puts it perfectly with this quote. There's a lot of quackery out there, a lot of false claims. The only way you can protect yourself is to become a critical evaluator of information. Be skeptical, ask for the evidence, demand it.
So, we're going to end right where we started, with a question for you. When your health and your performance are on the line, what are you going to bet on? A compelling story from a friend or the weight of scientific evidence? Ultimately, the choice is yours.